being into superheroes, I feel like everybody's like favorite thing to do is like, you know what I mean, just like look in the rear view and appreciate, all the movies that and the shows that we've got to experience over the years. And honestly, like there was this video I was watching by this guy called Pillboy, and he was talking about Dwayne McDuffie, and I feel like the way he lays it out, chef's kiss. Like shout out my man, that was the first video I saw by him, but like that was a really like it was almost like a documentary. He was taking me through the story of Dwayne McDuffie, and I don't know, like just like that trip down memory lane, it did something to me. It was pulling at the heartstrings a little bit, which inspired me to make this video. That being said, did I know who Dwayne McDuffie was before I watched the video? No. You caught me. But I am familiar with his works. You know what I mean? So just to give you like a quick rundown of what the video is about, it's basically just kind of like recounting Dwayne McDuffie's career. He worked a lot with like, DC Comics, and like the animated shows for like the Justice League and stuff. But he also, did stuff specifically for black characters like Static, the Jon Stewarts, the Vixens. Listen, maybe Pillboy just did his thing in the documentary, but he didn't make it seem like anything McDuffie touched, turned to gold on some Midas shit. And it was really dope. But what I really came here to talk about though is like the evolution of black characters, but more so like specifically teenage black characters. Think of like Peter Parker's counterpart, which nowadays is Miles Morales, but it didn't always used to be that. I'd say like growing up, like, like 2000s, 2010s, Static was really like the teenage black superhero that was like the counterpart to a Spider-Man. And I don't know that there really wasn't much, representation, at least in terms of like teenage superheroes. Most of the black characters were actually just like adults. Luke Cage was pretty big growing up, I think. Can't remember what he was in. Was he in like a Spider-Man? Was he an Ultimate Spider-Man? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he was. Jon Stewart, obviously, in the Justice League animated series or whatever. You didn't really have a lot of like teenage, black superheroes or whatever. It was literally just Static. You know what I mean? And now I feel like we don't have a lot, but we have a lot more than we did at the time. Just based off of Pillboy's video, I can see that like he's the one that really put in the work to create this environment. One thing that was mentioned is like Dwayne McDuffie did work on the Alien Force and Ultimate Alien series, for the Ben 10 sequel or whatever. As soon as he said that, bro, my mind went to I don't remember his name, but the black dude, like the heat blast black dude in Alien Force, whose dad was a plumber as well. And like he could fly on that little rock thing. Like, I don't know, maybe I should have done some research before I got on the camera, but I'm really not that kind. I'm not a video essayist. I really just get on here and talk. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dwayne McDuffie had a lot to do with that character. Unfortunately, the sour part of the video is that Dwayne McDuffie unfortunately passed away in the early 2010s. I don't know exactly when. But it made me sad, partially, because I think that like the environment that we've built nowadays where Riri Williams gets a show, Miles Morales is killing it with, 2 movies, third one on the way, and a game. Echo from Arcane, that's honestly my guy. I don't want to seem like a poser. I do have that poster, but I will tell you this. If you get 3, you get 1 for free. That was the one I got for free. I wasn't not going to get Miles Morales, but I am a fan of his. I just want y'all to know that like I'm not the Miles guy. Echo is really my guy if we're talking about teenage black superheroes. But yeah, like I just feel like, how far we've come in terms of representation, because that was also a big, part of the video is like what does representation truly look like, and what value is there to have, black people telling black stories. You know what I mean? Tokenism versus representation, like how do those things, differ? Yeah, and it really made me think about like, how much of an event the Black Panther movie was, and how Miles Morales has made room for himself in like the Spider-Verse without, encroaching on Peter Parker being Peter Parker. Despite what some motherfuckers want you to believe, all right? We can have Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Trust me, this shit works. But yeah, no, like I thought it was sad, but it was really dope to see how hard Dwayne McDuffie fought for representation every step along the way. And to kind of see the continuation of that story even after his passing, like, I don't know, it gave me a real appreciation, even more of an appreciation for Black Panther and Miles Morales and Echo, and Buddy, whose name I really should know by. Let's look it up together, all right? Alan Pyronite. Okay, I mean they kind of the last name's a little much. We get it. He's a heat blast. I lied. Alan, I don't know. His name is Alan. Alan from the Ben 10 Alien Force, the Luke Cage show, Jon Stewart, just all the black characters out there. Static, you know what I mean? Like, just all the characters out there. And Pillboy even put me on Earth M in DC Comics. If you look at like my videos lately, they've been very DC focused, which is kind of ironic because I'm way more of a Marvel guy, but I'm trying to invest, you know what I mean, into DC Comics to actually like, you know, get to know it a bit more. And, you know, Earth M might be a starting point, even though I don't think that that is officially DC. I think it's like, you know, published by DC, but it really belongs to, I think he said it was Miles Entertainment or something. Yeah, he put me on that. And like, there's like, you know, kind of like equivalencies. Like there's a black Superman type character. So that's definitely something I'm gonna check out. Yeah, just shout out Pillboy. Shout out Dwayne McDuffie. Deuces.